This is Made for More Living with Johnny Jennings. Online at madeformorerealty.com.
So we are back, and we have probably the most special guest, aside from Valerie, we have ever had on the show. And I honestly kind of feel like this is a bit of like, most agents don't tell you who their transaction coordinator is. They will not give you the contact info because their transaction coordinator, their TC, is their secret weapon. And so today on the radio, we are now broadcasting our secret weapon, Miss Kathleen Wilkinson with Taurus Transactions. Thanks for being on the show, Kathleen.
Thank you for having me.
Happy to have you on here. And so let's go into this. So like I said, most agents will not highlight who their TC is. They want to bring them in-house. I know we wanted to bring you in-house, but you're like, hey, I know I'm too good for just one team. I want to work with as many people as possible. Plus, it's not just you, right?
Correct.
Who else do you have working on your team?
So, yeah, I actually have my daughter who works alongside me. She is the other part owner of our LLC. She's been a TC for about 5 years. And so, yeah, we kind of work together.
She's been a TC for 5 years. How long have you been doing it?
Over 13.
Over 13. Wow. Yeah. Lots of experience.
Yes.
And during that period of time, you were actually the lead TC, right, at Skyslope?
Yes. Yeah, I worked at Skyslope for years as one of the lead TCs. So I would train transaction coordinators and kind of manage a team of TCs under me.
And you got to see not only local markets, but like markets outside of ours and in other states, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Skyslope is nationwide. And so I have TC'd in, 46 states. I've done a real estate transaction. Mm-hmm.
That's a great person to have on your team. Yeah. Great asset. And so you not only were you a transaction coordinator, you know, operating over 46 states, but you were training people. That's the key thing, is that you were so good. They're like, hey, Kathleen, we want you to help these other TCs get better.
Yes.
Get more better.
Yeah. So I managed my own book of business as well as, worked and managed other TCs.
So what are the key characteristics that make you an in-demand transaction coordinator?
Ooh, good question.
Get tons of rave reviews. What are the qualities that you have that make you stand out?
I think being organized is one of the best. I mean, it's a very, real estate's very fast paced. There's a lot of deadlines. There's a lot of kind of things to keep track of, during the entire real estate transaction. So yeah, you have to be really, really organized and have really good communication skills. Your job is basically kind of coordinating everybody to come together and, close the deal.
And responsive. I would say responsive is huge.
Yes.
Valerie and I have had a number of transaction coordinators in the past, and the reason why we've stuck with you for so long is because you are responsive.
Yeah, I mean, as you know, Johnny, most of the time I carry my laptop everywhere I go because real estate is not just, 8 to 5, Monday through Friday. It's busy on the weekends and things come up and you guys are, still out in the field all day, 7 days a week.
How do you deal with realtors who get anxious and stressed out and they're panicking and they pile everything on you like you're responsible for this deal happening or not happening?
You sound like you've worked with a lot of realtors, Matt.
How do you deal with those emotions?
I would say that every single real estate agent is like that. They are their own.
Come on.
Well, they are in the sense that their deal is the most important to them. So,
Sure.
And things are like, there's fires to put out sometimes. And so they're kind of like, hey, I need this done right away. And it's very, they're very, they can be demanding because their deal is the most important.
So how do you handle that, though? How do you handle all these little prima donnas?
Because I'd be terrible at this job. Oh, my gosh. I would be hanging up the phone and just be done. I would lose so many deals.
I was mad at myself. I didn't make it through one transaction. And then I realized, Valerie, you need to help me with this. I cannot do this on my own.
Yeah, there's a lot of times I get off of those phone calls and I just take a deep breath and I kind of just talk to myself about, okay, let's calm down and let's just get this done. So
put it in perspective.
You got to just, you have to put it into perspective. You have to have a lot of patience with real estate agents, I feel like.
All right, but you're really good. So I know we're kind of making fun of realtors. And if the whole purpose of this is we want more people to use Kathleen because if you don't have a transaction coordinator, you're missing the boat. You're wasting time. If I see somebody Kathleen has the famous phrase. What is it?
To me, I always say if a real estate agent, like, you never trust a real estate agent who doesn't have a TC, you know.
Yep.
I mean, agents, your job is to be out there and be the face of your business, and it's to go out and get new business or go on listing appointments and these things like that. So I just feel like agents have to have a transaction coordinator that's doing the paperwork and making sure everybody's doing what they need to do and all the pieces are coming together.
So dive into that a little bit more for people that are listening, realtors who say, I can handle it myself, I got it. What are the benefits? What is the peace of mind that a transaction coordinator brings?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely have, worked with agents on the other side of deals who do that, and sometimes that does work great for them. If they only do a few deals, a month or every few months, it might make sense to them. But like I said, I mean, in order to having somebody behind the computer doing the paperwork part, the tedious part, making sure, your file is audited for your broker and you're meeting all of the requirements that you need to
and
for
to
your
get
broker
paid.
and to get paid. Yeah. So it gives the agent more time to be going out and getting more business, and working on, their book of business and building their, essentially their company.
So this is what I tell agents all the time. They're like, well, should I hire an assistant? Should I hire a TC? I'm like, yes, get a TC first. And they're like, well, this TC is one TC will charge less, some TCs charge more. And I'm like, you want somebody who's really good, because a good TC, like let's say a TC charges, let's just say, depending on the suite of services they provide, because you offer, different tiers of things that you do.
Correct.
So let's just say it's $500 for a transaction.
Yes.
$500, just easy numbers. That TC is going to do so much work for you for that $500. And let's say your typical commission, let's say, is $10,000. So on a $400,000 purchase price, 2.5% of that, like a very common commission structure, that's $10,000. So the agent has the opportunity to make $10,000, and in that process, spend $500, right? So to me, agents, whatever you're doing to generate that $10,000 is way more important than figuring out the $500 per transaction work. So that's why it's absolutely indispensable to have a Kathleen on your plate, so you can go out and find that $10,000 per transaction work, rather than focus on the pen. You're picking up pennies and tripping over dollars.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
But so Kathleen, let's get some more about you. Lead TC at Skyslope. You've been licensed. Oh, I don't think we touched on that. You are licensed.
I am a licensed real estate agent.
That was huge.
That was huge. Yes.
When did that happen? That's been since I've known you.
So yeah, so my dad actually is a real estate agent as well. He was a broker, and just kind of did that on the side. And so it's something. And even being at Skyslope, I at one point went and did all the classes, and I just never went and took the test. And so yeah, I finally said, I just need to get this over with. I need to, as long as I've been doing this, I need to have my license. So, so I finally went and did it. And I think it's a good piece to have. I would never, this is, another piece. I would say I would never be able to do what the real estate agents do. Like, I have my license just because I feel like it's a good thing to have, but I'm not a real estate agent. I like being behind the computer and doing the contracts and doing that kind of piece of it. I like the transaction coordinating. So I always get agents tell me, like, I don't know how you do what you do. I would never want to do that piece of it. And it's kind of the same. I would never want to do what the agents are out doing.
And that is so one, having you licensed means you can write certain things, you can do certain things that an unlicensed transaction coordinator could not do. Legally is not allowed to do.
Correct.
And sometimes, though, when people get licensed, they're like, you know what? I might want to trade in my $500 per transaction fee for that $10,000 per transaction fee. And you lose a great transaction coordinator because they want to become a real estate agent. So when Kathleen tells me, and believe me, she does not want to be a real estate agent. She does not. And so you have a licensed transaction coordinator who is not going to compete with you, who is not going to leave you, who is not going to all of a sudden decide they want to be a realtor. That is such a rare find.
Yeah.
So it's another feather in Kathleen's hat. Speaking of feathers, you have worked with some of the top teams in the area.
I have.
You've worked with who have you worked with?
Well, I worked on Tom Dave's team for a few years. Yeah, and his agents. I know Brent Gove, and there's been, I would say, the majority of my book of business are EXP agents. However, I TC for other brokerages. Well, I have a Coldwell Banker, a couple Coldwell Banker agents, and then some small kind of mom and pop brokerages to where I kind of went in and created a system because they don't use Skyslope to house their stuff. So I kind of went in and we created a little system and how they can house their stuff and keep track of their stuff, and created a checklist of our own.
So the key thing, Kathleen, is broker agnostic. Whether you're EXP, Keller Williams, Remax, Coldwell, an independent broker, she can 100% help you with your files. And I just think it just speaks to the caliber of who you are, because you were with Tom Daves, you've worked for Brent Gove's team, you've been with the Made for More team. And you always seem to rise to the top wherever you are, Kathleen. So
Thank you.
If you guys want to reach out to Kathleen, what is the best way to do it?
Email is great too. That's probably the best way, is email or phone as well.
Let's do phone.
Yeah. Okay.
What's your phone number?
It is 916-539-7808.
Perfect. And if you have any questions, you're like, Johnny, who was that fantastic transaction coordinator that was on your show? Just reach out to us. You can find us at madeformorerealty.com. We're happy to get you connected with Kathleen. That is the goal. We want more agents using good transaction coordinators, so that way a rising tide lifts all ships. Now, Kathleen, we do have a couple minutes left. Mm-hmm. So what are some typical tasks that you do to help agents that maybe your competition doesn't do?
Yeah. I would say probably, since being licensed as well, like I have, I've met photographers at appointments on listings, removed and added Supra lock boxes for my agents. I do the MLS input, obviously, for your team, as Absolutely. I do for a few of my other agents. So, getting the photos and being able to input all of the stuff for the MLS and saving it for that agent just to go in and review and push live, mm-hmm. I know it's a tedious task.
It is.
I definitely help my agents write offers when they're out in the field. That happens a lot. They'll call me and they're, out driving from an appointment, but they want to get an offer put together. So definitely writing offers and just kind of being more hands-on, I think, on the listing side.
Something I think that makes you more unique as well is you have experience with Zillow Showcase.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know a lot of TCs that have experience with that.
Yeah. And that's a great thing, Zillow Showcase.
Zillow Showcase. So if you have questions, or you're thinking about doing it, or you are doing it and you're like, man, this is just like another to-do thing. Mm-hmm. I wish somebody could take this off my plate. Look no further than Kathleen Wilkinson. She can help you with that. Aside from, what's your goal, Kathleen? Because I know you're doing this with your daughter. It's Taurus Transactions. Mm-hmm. You got the LLC.
Yes.
What's your goal in the next 3 to 5 years with this LLC business?
I just think growing the business, with her and I, she, it's her book of business isn't as large as mine, but, definitely I think growing the business together, I think is our biggest goal right now. Yeah.
Perfect.
And kind of merging together. So there's a lot of things that, there's been times to where if she's not able to do something, I'm able to hop in and assist her agents, and vice versa. If I'm out doing something and one of my agents needs something urgently, it's really helpful that, I have her just to call up. And, mm-hmm, yeah, absolutely. Because as you know, things come up all the time, and it's time sensitive, and I needed that yesterday. Everything is I needed it yesterday. So.
My goodness. Yeah. And you have good relationships too with a lot of the title companies.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I've worked with, probably hundreds of title officers, I think, over the years.
How? So I'm always curious what a transaction coordinator's file limit is. Like, what would you say between you and Riley? Like, how many files could you guys process?
Yeah. So I would say, when I was at Skyslope, our file capacity was a lot larger. I think at the peak at Skyslope at one point, I don't recommend it, but I had 118 escrows. This is going at one time. That was just when, things were just getting really busy. But so I don't recommend that. But I definitely have the bandwidth to do. I mean, on average, I think we were usually in the 60 to 80 file capacity range over there. Yeah.
Got it. So you have the bandwidth. You're looking to take on
Absolutely.
clients. You and Riley are ready to rock.
Yeah.
One more time, what's that phone number?
It is 916-539-7808.
Thank you so much for being on the show, Kathleen.
Thank
It
you,
was a
Johnny.
joy.
Thank you so much.